Good afternoon. My name is Harry Chubbs, Coach Chubbs. I'm here introducing one of my old coaches, mentor, a person I've looked up to, and so have many others, and I speak on their behalf as well. Today we have here Coach Larry Goins of here of Sanford Lee County, where he's coached numerous sports, football, basketball, and also baseball, but more importantly, he's been a teacher of life. Coach Goins.
Yes.
How you doing?
Just fine right now.
I want to personally say thank you for taking out your time out of your busy schedule to do this interview. And since everybody already knows you anyway, but 39 years, it's a long time.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
Long time.
Where did it all begin?
Well, was at a football game. My nephew was playing football, and I reckon I wanted to loud mouth parents behind, one of the parents, but behind the fence, yelling at them what you should be doing out there on the football field. And the coach, after the game was over with, he just asked me to come out and help him. And that's how it really got started and led into football. Matter of fact, the coach of the team that he left, and I had to finish taking the team over, and that went on to the basketball season, and got in part with the Parks and Recreation, and then it's led into baseball, and that's how I really got started.
So many people go through their lives and not even know what their purpose is. Instantly, you knew that this is where you belong in coaching.
Yes. Back then I was young too,
You still young, right?
But I was pretty young when I got started, and like I say, we began with, really I had started coaching in 1975, I think, with the girls softball team. We used to have a softball team where we went around and played. I think we had about 4 or 5 teams here in Sanford, and we would go to West End, Mount Gilligan. We just went everywhere and just played, and that's what happened there. I got started really in girls softball, and because before we really got a part of Parks and Recreation.
I didn't know that. You've been holding out on me.
Yes.
Coach Bob Hales, what impact did he leave for you? And explain the relationship that you all had on the field and also off the field.
Coach Hale was, matter of fact, I learned a lot from him. He was probably my mentor because he really brought me in and helped me a great deal and helped me with coaching. You listen to someone a little bit older, and he was a young man, but we had a great relationship because we really coached together. If he coached in football, he win the championship, I go and help him. If I win it, I would go and help him, and that's including the basketball, football, and that's how we had a very close relationship there.
I remember back in 1991, 92, and you guys had won the regular season baseball championship, and also Coach Hales was your assistant. Then what I saw, y'all had great chemistry working together, and that's not easy for every coaching staff. So what was that one thing that y'all had in common that was just unbreakable?
Well, we just knew each other. We knew each other because we had coached together. Once you get used to coaching with someone, you just got that connection there.
You got the it factor, right?
Yes, and you just got that great bond, and we'll sit and talk for hours sometimes, especially like I said in baseball, and we might stay at Dalrymple, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we'll sit and talk about baseball,
Right.
What players and what everybody can do, especially when you're drafting your team or when you get a chance to get ready to pick your all-star team.
Okay.
So we just had that great connection, and he just done so much for me, and probably helped me really get started in a lot of different ways, because he worked at a bank and he really got me on board with the banks and, you know, my jobs. And
Well, I need to get on board with you, too. You were born and raised here in Sanford, Lemon Springs. You've coached here for 39 years. 39 years, Coach. 39 years. You've coached generations from the 80s, 90s, in the millennium, and everybody knows Coach Goins. How tough was it being able to coach here in your hometown?
like I said, it was very tough, especially when I first started. A lot of parents will, you know, again, you hate to say that, but a lot of parents will stay at practice and watch you because they really didn't have that trust in you. And I think once we start to win, and I showed them how I love the young kids out there, so they really, you know, just fell in love and they start to trust me. And that's the most important thing. You got to get your parents really trust you.
Mm-hmm. One thing I heard you always say outside of hustling that you've always told your players is to have passion on the court that builds character off the court.
Oh, yeah.
Why is the word passion so important to you as a coach?
You got your passion, and, you know, you got to have the love of the game. I have the love of the game, and what you're trying to do is get these young men to have the same idea, to have the love of the game. You got to have that, your chemistry and the passion of the game.
Okay. Now, out of 39 years, there comes a breaking point in every profession, no matter what it is. What was a time, or who influenced you the most throughout all these decades?
Well, I just think, to me, it's been the young kids that I coach, you know, and you want to really reach out and help them, you know. And a prime example, and I never forget some things that you do for young kid. I had a young man one time that every team he played on, he always wanted to quit. He wanted to quit. And so I asked him, I said, if you don't quit, you know, I'm going to get you something for Christmas, you know. And, you know, you just got to have that passion. And at Christmas time, I went out and I carried him, I bought him a bicycle, you know, and I seen how that young man really, he acted when I gave him that bicycle. But I had done a lot of other things too, but he was one of the kids that kept me the drive and the love of it, and want me to keep on coaching.
One thing I personally can say, that if Coach Goins says something, you can count it. and the reason why I say it, we're talking about passion. The kid, you always was able to keep your word, which ultimately gained respect of all your players, which also motivated them to do the right thing. Who else in your family allowed you to motivate other kids? Because you know you was everybody's uncle. You was everybody's father that wasn't in the home. Everybody knew Coach Goins and knows Coach Goins.
Well, to motivate me, I just have some great coaches that around me too. You know, you got to have some great assistant coaches and to really push you. And like I said, we had Coach Hale, and I had another young man that I always call him my young brother, and that's Coach Peace. And he don't realize how much that he had taught me about the game of basketball and the love and the passion of the game. I thought I was a pretty good coach until I met him. And once I met him, and then I think I became a better coach.
Good deal, good deal. What's one thing that those out there looking at the camera, what's one thing that they don't know about Coach Goins?
Well, I'm just, like I said, I'm just a family man. I like to pretty much stay home.
You're a homebody?
Homebody, you know, church, work.
Coach, can I pick your pocket for a minute? For those that don't know Coach Goins doesn't eat chicken. He'll eat fish, he'll eat steak, but he doesn't eat chicken. Never heard of that.
A lot of people ain't never heard of that. No,
White meat, dark meat,
Yeah.
no chicken at all.
no chicken.
No chicken at all.
I'm probably about 9, 10 years old, and I don't know what happened, but I think when I used to eat chicken then, and I bit into a chicken. I didn't see something in it I didn't really like, so that's taking me away from eating chicken.
Well, anytime you don't want to eat no chicken, Coach, just call Coach Chubbs.
Yeah,
all right.
Just,
You're a big NC State fan,
oh yeah, I'm a Wolfpack.
and I'll forgive you. You know, you got a lot of Carolina fans out here surrounding you. Who would you say out of all the ACC teams, all the basketball players, who would be your legitimate top 5?
Oh, well, you got David Thompson. You know, I'm gonna try to go around all the ACC schools if I can. You got Lynn Boss. I thought he was very good. You know, you can go Michael Jordan or James Worthy, or do you want me to say another NC State player?
Anybody but Duke. Anybody but Duke.
Kristen Lackland was a pretty good player for Duke.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to.
You mentioned Coach Reggie Peace.
Yes, sir.
He's actually going to join us on the panel doing this interview here as a surprise.
Okay.
But you've already talked him up. But after we come back, we're going to bring Coach Reggie Peace here to sit in on the interview. Thanks for joining back in with us on an interview with Coach Larry Goins. Next we have coming in to join on our panel is head coach Reggie Peace of Lee County High School basketball team here in Sanford, North Carolina. I've actually asked Coach Peace to be come join us in helping us celebrate 39 successful years of the legendary Larry Goins. Coach Peace, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We all know you're a busy man yourself. I guess you could say you and Coach Goins are two peas in the same pot.
Yes, sir.
What's one thing that you honestly can say that attracted you to Coach Goins and being a part of your staff and just getting to know him? Where did it all begin? Where did it start from?
Well, I think we actually met doing AAU basketball. I remember when I first got here, not knowing a whole lot of people, I tried to have a AAU meeting with all the AAU coaches to kind of get everybody on the same page. Everybody was kind of doing their own thing and seeing if I could pull everybody together because we were just a one-school town at that time. And got to know Coach Goins. Knew that everybody knew Coach Goins in the community, and I didn't know a lot of people, so that was one thing that I knew I needed to have. And Coach Goins just loves kids, so that was another thing that I loved about him and wanted him to be a part of what we were doing here at the high school. And he's just passionate about kids and loves the game, so those were the clinchers, so to speak.
Okay.
He's a good man, and, you know, we all want good people around us.
Well, there's an old saying, a bird of a feather flock together. You two flock very good together.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have endured some good times, some tough times, but yet and still, y'all still there. Y'all been a tremendous impact, not just here in Sanford, but surrounding areas. And evidently, y'all carry the same traits.
Absolutely.
So what's one of the biggest things that you can say that you've learned from Coach Goins just by coaching alongside of him?
Well, I used to watch Coach Goins, and Coach Goins' work ethic was just unparalleled. He would go from football in the fall to basketball in the winter to baseball, and it was a year-round thing for him.
Right.
I was coaching basketball year-round, but he was coaching 3 sports year-round. And just his passion for the game and his love for kids. And, you know, I decided we were going to try to have a 9th grade team here.
Right.
And he was the guy that I wanted to be the 9th grade coach. So I went in and advocated, and they kind of, you know, there was a perception where if you went on at the school, you couldn't coach, but I let it be known to the administration that he was the guy that I wanted to do it, and fortunately they listened to me.
Oftentimes when you have 2 people doing the same thing, it often presents a challenge, and oftentimes it's not a positive way. When I look at coaches on the NCAA level, in the pros, NFL, everybody doesn't always mesh well together. Almost, Coach Goins gave us a scenario with him and Coach Hales. They had that chemistry. What is that it factor that you guys share that is in common?
Well, we've talked about those things before, his work ethic, his love for kids, and, you know, even though we were working together and Coach was, I guess, working for me, so to speak, I think that he knew that we were working together.
Right.
So there wasn't any, I tried my very best to give him the utmost respect all the time, even though, you know, he was here working for me in the school system, and, you know, that went back and forth. Right. The respect and love we had for each other, and it was all about what was best for the program and the kids, and, you know, we were going to both work to see that, you know, the kids at Lee County were getting the best.
And I think they are. And oftentimes, could you name a situation or name a scenario where you guys really work together to accomplish a greater good? For example, let's just take one of your teams that maybe were not as athletic as others. What coaching schemes did you all work well together to get the best out of those kids? And what did y'all do, and how well did you get to the end result?
Over the years, we've had to use a lot of schemes to, you know, try to be successful on the court. You know, like you said, there are some years where you may not be as athletic. You know, there are some years where, you know, the other teams just, we had several years ago, there were in our league 5 or 6 Division I players that played in the ACC and whatnot, and we didn't have any Division I players. So we had to scheme and, you know, do what we had to do to try to compete on that level and give ourselves the best opportunity to win games. So, you know, we did those things. We worked together. We put our heads together. I've always been of the approach where, you know, everybody had some input, and we were going to listen to everything, and then we were going to try to put it all together and do what was best for the program. So that's what we did.
As a spectator, outside looking in, oftentimes when I come to see you guys coach together, I see that you all don't compromise your integrity or your program for one individual. And for some kids nowadays, it's hard because everybody's always about me and themselves. What's a great challenge for those coaches that are coming up? What would be the best advice that you would give to them of how well you guys work together as a team?
Well, first of all, young coaches, I would tell them they'd have to be themselves, you know, not try to be somebody else or try to be somebody that they're not. And, you know, you've got to have some discipline in your program, and you've got to allow your coaches to coach and everybody to work together. So that's what, you know, we tried to do here. Coach Goins was I can't tell you what an asset he was to have in the program. You know, I left and came back, and one of the first things I did when I got back was call him and beg him to come back.
So you would consider yourself Batman, and this is your Robin.
And luckily he did. Luckily he came back. but yeah.
Let me ask you something. See how well you know Coach Goins. Does Coach Goins own a motorcycle or not? True or false?
True.
You said that without a doubt. True. Has he ever taken a stroll during your practice time? Or after practice?
Not during practice.
Or after the game?
After practice. But after practice. I have seen him scoot out of here on the time or two.
Okay. Because I just learned about that about a couple of years ago. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. Has Coach Goins ever dressed up as a woman before for any fundraiser? True or false?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I might have missed it, though. I hate I missed it.
We're going to leave that alone, y'all. We're going to move on. But last but not least, if there could be one last sentence or quote or word, whatever your choice would be, how would you describe the legacy of Coach Larry Goins?
Giving of his time, giving of his heart, just giving back and just giving things to his wife, his family, the whole Sanford community. Just giving of himself for 39 years. And I don't think anybody around here is giving any more than Larry Goins.
True that. I called Coach the other night after he consented to go ahead and do the interview, and I was talking to my wife about it, because I know how Coach Goins is. He's very humble. He does things a certain way. He wants it done the right way. And if it's not the right way, he's not going to put himself in a position to compromise his integrity. I know that to be fact. And like you said, he's given so much that prompted me to want to do something more, because there's no way that you can compete for 39 years. And he's given his life, his time, and I just want to let you know, as a past player, and in my book, Coach Reggie Peace has given a lot of time. You guys have worked together, but I just want to let you know, and I speak on behalf of Coach Peace and on behalf of whole Sanford, that we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And what you've done cannot be duplicated.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you both a lot. Thank you. That meant a lot to me, because, like I say, you just, when you start out, you never know that you just, how can do it this long. But I appreciate it. I coached a lot, great young ladies, great men. Had a lot of great assistant coaches, and I'm very proud to be a part of all of them, including my wife. I can't leave her out over there, because many times at night she had to get me some food ready when I got home. So
Everything but chicken, y'all.
But I want to thank everybody. Thank you.
Well, that concludes the interview, folks. One thing we have all can say that we've learned from Coach Goins is to give of your time and to be passionate about what you're doing and who you're doing it for. Because at the end of the day, you're not doing it for yourself. It's for those that come behind you. So we thank you for tuning in with us. And as Coach Goins will say, good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good gets better and your better gets best.
Purpose Productions.